Hey guys, Kurt from Time Machine Transport. Second time I'm doing this video because I accidentally deleted the first. So, anyways, just in Kenosha, Wisconsin today. Beautiful sunset over there. If you guys could see that, can you see it? Yeah, I'm sure. My wife's in there doing a quilt for little Vinny. Supposed to be born in December. So, anyways, it's a beautiful day outside. I figure I'd do a video for the second time. Anyways, so we have our little pig right there, Penelope. My wife says pigs are good luck. So, anyways, I was watching Glenn Beck and enjoying the afternoon, and so he had because of this whole election thing, Oregon passed a law that said you can legally possess a small amount of heroin and you can legally possess a small amount of crystal meth. Now that's interesting, but you'll be arrested for a face mask if you don't wear one. How much sense does that make? I was telling my wife about it. She goes, "You," because I know one video I did. I feel like I woke up in the Twilight Zone, and that's exactly how we feel. Excuse me, a lot of gnats out here today. Um, so I wanted to do a quick video on it. I went into this whole songbird thing on the other video, but I'm not going to even go into that. I believe that possibly it might be predictive programming where instead of them really poisoning us, maybe it's just to make us wear the masks more. So it's probably easier that way, I think. But anyway, so back to the Oregon thing. So the left coast, that's why there's so many homeless people out there and junkies, because the left coast basically coddles them and nurtures them and holds them in their little, blankies. So I was telling my wife, this was a few years ago. They had a documentary I was watching on drugs and stuff like that. It wasn't on Drug Inc. or anything. It was years ago, a few years ago. Oregon actually has clinics. I hate that damn tooth. I hate that tooth. So they have shoot up clinics where a heroin addict can go inside this clinic 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They provide you with a fresh needle and you can shoot up. It's like a big room. It's clean. It looks like a regular certifiable clinic. And they have like these little cubicles. You can sit down, get your high on, and you could just chill out there. That's just absurd to me. My wife's like, no. I said, yeah. And then she watched it. She's like, oh my God. So, but so this is what's so crazy about it is, so they interviewed, it was either the alderman of the district or the mayor or whatever, or some health spokes. It was probably like a health spokesperson or somebody who works at the health department. So they say the reason for these clinics, and I'm sure there's more than one because Portland's got a lot of junkies. Actually, the whole left coast does. Um, they say that it's better for the taxpayer to fund these than it is if they didn't fund them. The reason being, they say if a junkie dies out there, and they have to dispatch paramedics or the fire department, the med unit from the fire department or whatever the case is. So they say that it's cheaper to have the taxpayers pay for the clinics than it is for that. My question, and I don't believe the reporter interviewing the person actually even asked a question. I think there was more them just telling them why we have these clinics. It wasn't like a Q&A or anything. But my thought on the thing is, so I'm sure you have to have you know people there. You have an RN. I believe it was a registered nurse you had to have there on site 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then I don't think it was a nurse practitioner, but I could be wrong. So I'm sure if they're trying to budget, a nurse practitioner probably costs more than an RN. But So my thought on, okay, so you probably have you know a nurse there, a person that probably checks in the person, gets all their personal information, and then maybe a security guard, or I'm sure you probably have a minimum of 3 people there at any given time. So when you come in, I'm sure they take your info, and then they give you a brand new fresh needle. That's out here like crazy. Brand new fresh needle, and you can go on over there, junkie, and you can shoot up, and then they just hang out. So those clinics can't be cheap. I mean, if you have 3 people there on every shift, 9 people a day, plus the rent for the clinic, plus the electricity, the air, the equipment that goes in it, the needles, everything else, that's got to be costing the taxpayers, I would imagine, $250,000 a year, probably, if not more, $500,000 a year, to give these junkies a nice little cozy place to shoot up at. But my question is, so the person asked them, they said, well, what if are you afraid of people overdosing here? And the guy says, no. He said, for liability reasons, we have to call in the paramedics, and then we can't just leave them there or let them walk out because of liability reasons. We have to take them to the hospital. What's different than what's the difference of going to the clinic and picking up the junkie, taking them to the hospital, giving them Narcan or whatever the case is? My wife had on the last video, I knew it was Narc something or whatever. She's like, Narcan. I was like, okay, yeah, because obviously my wife's an RN, so she knows that stuff. So, but my question is, what's the difference if you pick up the junkie on the street, on whatever, and you still have to administer them Narcan, or bring them back to life if they OD, or whatever? If somebody's called and they're just passed out on the street, they're 9 times out of 10 they're going to take them to the hospital. So what's the difference if you pick them up at the clinic or you pick them up out on the street? So I don't understand how this health department spokesperson or the alderman or whatever the case is, how do they justify costing the taxpayers probably, like I said, $250,000 to $500,000 a year, if not more? How does that make any sense? So you give the junkie a clean place to shoot up, a place to hang out, a clean needle, everything else, and if they overdose, you still have to call the fire department or the paramedics. Doesn't make any sense. So that's just bizarre. But it shows you the direction that we are going in. You can legally possess a small amount of heroin, and you can legally possess a small amount of crystal meth. Those are the harshest drugs. I mean, I would imagine probably the top 2 worst drugs on the planet, besides, pain pills or whatever, which is basically legal heroin anyways, and whatever Floyd died of, that stuff he was taking. That's really super dangerous, those patches or whatever the hell it's called. But anyways, when I heard it on Glenn Beck just 20 minutes ago, I was like, oh my God, I had Sarah listen to it, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, how is that possible? Anyways, I'm done talking about it. I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little tutorial on the way things operate for junkies over in Portland. And I'm sure Portland's probably not the only place. But anyways, I hope this video finds you well. God bless all you guys. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Ciao.